Welcome to another episode of Rimshots with Sean, brought to you by Barstools and Bandtalk right here on the Rock Rage Radio Network. I am here with another new friend. I get to meet some really cool people when I do this podcast. And Justin Ian, I don't know where he is. He's with a band called Disaster Piece. Where are you presently at?
Clifton, New Jersey.
Jersey. So you guys rode on the road?
Say again?
I say you're out on the road right now?
Yeah, well, we just finished a set of shows, so we have a break. We might do some one-offs next. It's about to be the off season, but in August we go back out for like a whole nother month. We go out with this band called the Bunny the Bear, and we're gonna do a whole West Coast run, Cali, all that. So I'm excited for it.
So you're in the band vehicle. So do you guys take that vehicle out to the West Coast?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's sick. I love it.
So where are you going to be going out there? Where are you going to be playing out there when you're out that way?
So once we get out of the Midwest and it's completely the West, it's gonna be like Seattle and Portland, and then we were gonna get an LA date, but I guess there's like a mile radius rule because we got Anaheim. So it's gonna be like Anaheim, no LA, but Anaheim, San Diego, San Francisco, and Nevada City.
So you're going to hit all the hot spots. So that's going to be good. And it'll be a beautiful time of year where it's probably scorching hot when you're out there. So that'll be fun too, right?
Yeah, I can't wait for that, bro. I'm so excited.
Nice.
For real. Yeah.
So where's home base for you guys? Home base for you guys is where?
New York City.
And well, I see. So I always like to ask, tell me about the scene there. I get some different sorts of bits of feedback. What's the scene like in New York?
It comes in waves. New York, New Jersey, and Philly is it's a lot of sometimes it's connected and they all come in waves. Sometimes it looks like it's dying down, but not right now. All of a sudden, there's like all these new kids. There's like a new wave of new kids. They all know what they're talking about. They all like kids I've never seen before at shows. They just know what's up, and it's a good time for, if you're like in between age, like we're not that old, we're not the youngest, it's perfect for us to continue pursuing the music dream because there's fresh air. There's all these new kids that like close enough in age still where it's not too distant, where like they wish they were around for the 90s and the early 2000s.
Right.
So if we make music that's kind of nostalgic, it's accessible to them. So it's a good time. One could question, is this kind of music dated or this or that? And I feel like it's not. We're putting a new spin on some nostalgic elements because there's new people around to appreciate it. And I think that part's cool. You see that a lot in New York City now, in New Jersey, in South Jersey. So it's exciting again. I'm excited about all of it. I can feel it.
Yeah, and I think what's going on too with a lot of these kids, I mean, some of them have parents that grew up in that era, and I mean, even some parents or kids that have parents that grew up in like the mid to late '80s, where there was the whole, you're in Jersey, so like Bon Jovi and Cinderella and stuff like that. So I think some of these kids grew up listening to their parents' collections, and so they appreciate that music because they're used to hearing it.
Exactly, I think that's exactly what it is. They wish they were part of it, so they want to like try to like tap into it, make it like recreate it in a way.
Absolutely. So tell our viewers about Disaster Piece. I mean, give me a background on who you guys are, what you're all about.
Yeah, dude. So it started as a solo project. I used to always play in bands, in rock bands, metal bands, I think grindcore bands growing up. And like around the time where like high school kind of ended, certain people that I would do projects with, they were going to college. So I was like, yo, I need a solo project. Something that I could do that's not like acoustic, something that I could do that's different. I'm like, well, I'm not a rapper. I'm like, whatever. So I started doing hip hop. I started doing a hip hop project. It was a side project. And the first Disaster Piece albums were more like old school hip hop, like MF Doom or Beastie Boys or something like that. And I started missing my roots. I'm like, nah, I want to play guitar again. I want to do a band. But if I start recording rock music or metal music or anything like that, I need to make sure that I have a band to do a live with. So as I started getting more momentum with this rap side project that I did with some of my other bands, so I'm like, maybe there's a way to like bring back what I used to do, what I want to do again through the momentum of my rap name, so that I don't have to change the name and we can do one. And sometimes depending on the bill, the new songs that in the band, we can play those, opening up for like, Immortal Technique, which I've done, or like Shaggy Too Dope, just do the older hip hop stuff. So what wound up happening is like I did that between August of 2023, actually 1 year ago, it officially became a band. My little brother was playing drums. We found our bassist Levi. He's a good dude. And then our guitarist we got from Richmond, Virginia, Scotty P. And I originally asked him to play guitar on Instagram. We had some mutual friends. He said he liked it, but yeah, his main project was his main focus. So we wound up on this festival in Texas, in Austin, Texas. We were opening up for the band Fire from the Gods and a few others. And he's like, "Oh, no way, you're on that show." He's like, he had a friend that was running it, so he took it as a sign. We banded together. He came, he did that show with us for the first time, and that was it. We felt chemistry. We picked up a booking agent. We started touring, and we've had managers or label people step in, but a lot of stuff, we're not on a label right now. Kind of just guides us somewhere. The deal doesn't happen, and we wound up. It's nice because we have a booking agent and nobody telling us what to do, and a publicist. So we wound up with all the perks of a label, but without the label.
Right.
And so now it's built into this rock band, and it's the new. It's like a rebranded. It's not, people who knew Disaster Piece knew me as a rapper, and now it's this, us, not me, but us as a rock band, and it has this whole hybrid of stuff that I really wanted to do for a long time. So
Right on. And give a shout out to your PR person, because I get to work with them quite a bit.
Shout out Raquel. Thank you. Raquel Figlo, thank you for getting us this interview and for hooking it up. And we look forward to kicking it with you when we come to California.
Yeah, she's a beast, man. She's a beast. I do a lot of work with her. So
Yeah.
so in terms of so you mentioned you have a booking agent. So how many shows were you playing, I guess, before? Because you said that's the end of the run, or it's coming to the end. So how many shows would you guys be putting together to get out there and do this thing?
It's like a month, but it's not. A couple days off winds up being like 24 shows.
Okay.
I like it like that. It's tiring, but the body is exhausted, but the soul is the most fulfilled. Like, right. I feel happy, and you know what? We do good in merch. Bank account is good. I love it. I love the reason I chose to do the interview in the van too. I just bought this van with Disaster Piece earnings. My whole life since I was a kid, I've been waiting to fucking. I don't want to curse too much. Sorry, but I've been waiting to just do what my idols, what my friends. I'd watch them as I was a little kid. Like, oh man, I can't wait to have a band and go on tour and be in a band. And even if it took a little longer than I wanted it to, because I've been chasing this since I was 10 years old, it finally manifested. So it's really thick to just go away for a month, 24 shows, North Dakota, South Dakota, a lot of crazy places that I've never been, that I would have never been to if it wasn't for doing this. So
I think that's really cool, though, that you can say that you got your vehicle due to band earnings, because most of what you're hearing from people is they're not doing great. The business is broken. I'm in it. I do stuff all the time, and it just seems like it gets harder and harder unless you do things differently than other people, because everybody seems to do things the same way. And I find it bizarre that, a whole host of people do something one way and it's not working, so other people decide to copy them. So let's take a principle that isn't working and try to make it work. It sounds like you guys are maybe not doing that. You're doing something a bit different.
You have to follow your own intuition, not blind. That's a good thing you just brought. We have so many people that have been in our ear, like, you can't do this. This way, booking agent, you don't need a booking agent. Your Spotify numbers aren't high enough yet. Oh, but your social media looks great. It's just all these people that don't write songs, that don't tour, that don't do it, holding the keys for bands. And at the same time, you have a market, like you said, that's been bled out dry with all the streaming platforms that have devalued music. You can't buy a CD, fine. The times have changed, fine. But every other way, there's no more MTV. There's no walking around and seeing people stoked on music. It's just what the stuff that's in, people pay attention to it. It goes, it doesn't matter. Everything is based on hashtags and stupid shit. And I've been waiting for this since I was a little kid.
Yep.
So a lot of it had to do with just dreaming and then making business decisions behind it. Like another thing is like, okay, you know, telling us a year and a half ago, we need better numbers to even have a booking agent. Then it was like, okay, we have one. We're going to tour, and be like higher up saying, well, that doesn't make sense if you're not going out with a bigger band, which I know we should be. Sometimes we do, but you're not a headlining band. You're not doing headlining numbers. It's not worth it for us. We don't make enough money to book you a whole tour without a bigger band. Okay, get us the bigger band. You know, it's up to their management. I hit them up. It's all games that disappear. The whole music business is like in Wolf of Wall Street. It's a Woozy, it's a Wazzy, it's a Fugazi.
Yeah.
It just disappears on you. So you
100%.
have to say fuck it. Yeah, you have to just
no, and I agree, right? Because I mean, to me, I mean, Spotify, whatever. I mean, I do another show. You know, if you're an independent artist, good luck. And I mean, somebody saying your Spotify numbers aren't big, like that to me is like they can be huge or they can be zero, and it's the same end result. You know, so heck with that. Getting on these tours now, I talked to a number of artists in you know down south of the border, and some of them are getting on tours, and some of them have to do pay to play. Do you guys have to do a little of both, or are you just getting booked straight up?
We wound up, fortunately, skipping the entire pay to play thing.
Yeah.
That's a blessing, and it was hard. I know bands that do pay to play. I'm not going to put them on blast, but what I hear, and I guess it's kind of mean from the agent standpoint, there's a saying that I got taught from some higher ups is once a buy on band, always a buy on band.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because once you've given the agents and the band 10 grand or 8 grand, every time you hit them up, they're gonna wait for that 8 grand. Right? As opposed to a band that just got picked up, which is very, very hard because that means like an agent or a manager that deals with way more famous people took the time of day to check you out and say, okay, you know, I'm only going to make a cut of 100 off you here, 200 off you there. But I believe that you become an investment sometimes to someone.
Right.
If they have time. Most people in the industry, A, don't have time, and B, aren't making the kind of money you think that they're making from the outside. So the fact that we got somebody that said, okay, this might be a waste of time at first, but in the long run, I don't think it is. So I'm just going to start booking them. And it took us like 6-7 months. And now it's profitable to them too. And once the new record came out and you know, in the new music video, we just had a video, it hit 31,000 views today. So we're working on our numbers, right? But our agent, she pitches our stuff. Wait, people are taking the shows. Yep. Even if it's like, oh, I haven't heard of them, but they're like, oh, this is neat. This band could be something. So the promoter takes the show and sends the deposit. And so the money and the numbers is working. But because we finally got in someone's ear and they said, okay, maybe this could be something. And that is a major blessing that we skipped the buy-on pay to play stuff. So
yeah, and I mean, you know, I rep an artist up here who between 2 songs, she's got, I don't know, 130,000 views on YouTube. And I finally figured out that, you know, YouTube will actually get you paid if you do it properly. Where Spotify, you know, you bang your head against the wall.
I know. I got to get on. People keep saying that too. Spotify, I don't want to know. I don't want to say something too messed up about them on camera because I'm trying to make nice with this whole industry, but like, yo, you pimp. It's not the record labels pimp their artists out.
Yeah.
Okay. And like it used to be. Okay. I loved when you could go. I was young, but you would go to a CD store, Sam Goody or Best Buy, and buy music. There was
Yep.
demand. There was MTV played a video. You'd say, where do I get that? How do I hear it? Okay. I don't want to go to jail for downloading music. Downloading music's illegal now. Must go to the store and buy it, or must go on iTunes and buy it, whatever. Fine, times have changed, right? But you've come streaming has devalued music. So much money, 4 to 5 to 6 to 10 to 12 grand goes into making a record, and then nobody gives a shit. They scroll past it.
Yep.
And when someone finally gives a shit, I make a fourth of 1 penny off the stream. It's like I see my check for it. They sent me $12.50 the other day.
Yeah.
In increments, because I have it set to like send it after. I have them send it every like $10 to $15, so it comes up into my bank account. But so I must make more than that, but in revenue. But I have them split it up. On my point is, I'm looking at what I had to do to get those $12, and it's just tons and tons of work. I dropped tons of money into Facebook ads, Instagram ads, everything that a label should or could be doing for us. And there's some return money, but most of that will always be in merch, show payouts in merch, because streaming is just not it.
Nope.
You know what I mean? It's just not.
It's not.
I wish there was a different way, you know?
Well, and I use this example. So take, say, I don't know, an album that had a lot of hits on it. I don't know. I'll name Bon Jovi's New Jersey. I like the second side more than I like the first side. The first side had all the hits.
Yeah.
Had it been the world of streaming, I never would have experienced the second side, because I just would have went to the hits and that would have been it. And that's the problem with the streaming, is that it's just basically draw people to what's popular, and they don't go looking for stuff. There's just way too much stuff on there. It's hard to find it in some cases. All the heavy stuff is given to the majors. We know this, right? So the major artists get the lion's share of the love. So it's just tough all the way around.
I know they've barricaded off. There's like no way for a new band to get in.
Nope.
Unless it's like you have to like. We kept telling people it's a risk. So check this out. Like, to get this interview with you, we had a publicist, right? We have Raquel and we have Michelle, who's our agent, right?
Yep.
2 strong, smart business ladies behind us pushing us. Usually you have to get the record label to get that. Yep. It's some form of magic. I did this risky thing with like telling certain higher ups that took forever to get them to even have their phone number and answer me, because they're like, who's this kid? I don't know his band. While I finally have their attention, trying, I also had to arrogantly say, like, like we don't really give a, I know what I am and I know what we have, and you're wrong. And you're like, how am I wrong? I've been in this industry for blah, blah, blah. And it's because I don't know, at the same time, you're also not like a hardcore kid with your ear to the scene. And knowing also a salesman, it's different. All these people get comfortable on the industry side, and they forgot the side of being hungry, and dreaming to figure out how to make it work. And at the same time, people don't want to acknowledge like the artists that they're making money off of. A lot of them are very cookie cut and generic. So I don't want to hear that something's not going to sell, or I don't want to hear that about numbers and this or that. I'm not trying to go with what's in style in the game. I think we can be popular, but I'm coming in to innovate it and change it. That's risky in itself too, because I'm coming in saying like, I'd like to be a high selling artist that's towards the top or something, known all over. A lot of people would know it. I mean, we're underground, but getting a little bit buzz. It's nice. I go places and people recognize me, but there's work to do. I want those numbers skyrocketed, just like the CEO of Warner Music would want, right? But I have to like be them instead of trying to get all these people to sign on, which I did. That's why like it took longer for the record to come out. We had people, we had a deal, this, that, back and forth, and I'm just like, yo, whatever. We're always on tour. We have a publicist. we just need a little bit more funding, like a label would. But
Yep.
then again, the labels don't even put up $50,000, let alone 100. So as long as we're doing good on merch, I'm copying these guys, doing everything a label would be, and just waiting for a little bit more of a money plug to keep it going. But the amount that I said, no, you got to listen to me, trust me, I got this, let's do that. And they're like, oh, this kid's got talent, but we need something a little bit more like this. It's just like what you hear about or see in the movies. And I just had to be like, kind of create my own reality. And it worked. And then here we are,
Yeah. And I mean, the thing about a label, a lot of people don't understand is that even back in the day, being part of a label, being signed to a label, was basically you had a bank loan, right? So they would front you all the money to put all your product out, and they would front you money to go on a tour. And a lot of people thought it was free money, but if you go do the research, there's an awful lot of bands that broke up because they couldn't afford to pay that, and they lost the rights to their songs and their publishing and what have you, right? So what you're doing, I mean, it's that organic thing, and you're not really beholden to anybody, which I think is a good spot to be in.
It is a bank loan. It's so smart. I love talking with you because you just know what's up. Like, it is a bank loan, and basically people are like looking to be signed because on the outside world it means you made it, because nobody knows anything, and they're like, oh, my son just got signed, his band, they're out in LA, it's all schmoozy, it looks good to the outside. Me, the reason I really wanted I'm like one of the few punk hardcore kids left that wanted to be signed by a major label because I need that bank loan.
Yeah.
I believe I could pay it. We do good. And we're always on tour. I'm always on. I don't work that much of a day job. I'm a bouncer at a metal club when I'm home sometimes. And it's, I make, choose to pick up a shift or not. And then I just go on tour. So I'm on tour every 2 months. My point is, if someone gave us $50,000, I'd pay that back. I need that loan.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for someone. Well, there's always somebody, some older dude. I believe in you guys, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna pick you guys up. I was just shopping you to this or that. But the deal never actually happened.
Yeah.
So, but when you still had people in the industry that are in their 50s telling us we have something, then it's there whether or not there's no, and I don't need no contractor signing announcement on lambgoat.com or whatever who we sign with to validate that. I know that if I just keep going, more and more people will see, and just to believe, because there's a point where I wasn't even getting interviews like this. This in itself is an elevation. So,
well, I appreciate that. Justin, we're going to take a quick break here, man. Pay a couple bills. We're going to come back. I'm here with Justin Ian. Disaster. Why can't I? I'm having a little bit of a hard brain fire here, man. Disaster Piece. Thank you.
Disaster Piece.
Yeah, on the Rock Rage Radio Network. We're back after this. Welcome back to Rimshots with Sean right here on the Rock Rage Radio Network. I'm here with Justin Ian from Disaster Piece. He's down in New Jersey, almost back to New York. Had a little bit of a brain fart there, but we fixed it. And just before we went on our break, we were talking about record deals, and we were talking about it's a common theme with a lot of people, just the way the business is now. Common theme on my podcast, and I'd love to get your take on it, is the value of networking. And I'll set it up like this. I met Raquel. She found her way to me. She contacted me, asked me to interview one of her bands. 6 or 7 months later, there's a picture of her on some patio in Los Angeles having coffee with this other girl from New York that I know. And I sent her a note. I said, how do you know Raquel? And she's like, how do you think Raquel knows you? So it was a whole networking thing, right? The whole referral. I'd like to get your take on what networking maybe has done for you, what you think about it. I personally think it's a very valuable thing. I'd love to get your take.
I love networking. I do. I love it. I love talking with smart people who know things. I love talking about music. I love talking about music with smart people. And I love building because I'm trying to come up, so there's a difference. Like, I don't like networking with people who are doing like the facade.
Yeah.
But when you find out you're really talking to someone real, somebody who has real credits somewhere. If they name drop somebody that's like a serious name drop, then you're like, okay, there's nothing better than building. There's nothing better than building and expanding. It's a current. It's a currency. It's it to me. It's wealth to have this fucking excuse my language. This this king and this queen and this big dog. All you become more powerful, even if your thoughts talking about stuff, building, having another contact to hit up, even if they don't do something for you per se. You when like yo, we're in LA, come through, and you just take the picture. Even taking a picture with somebody who's doing stuff that you just met, having an alliance in a photo and posting that on social media makes people talk and congregate. Yo, how much is this size shirt? I've been meaning to buy your merch for a while. I'll never really hit you up. Let me get a large in this. There's nothing better than forming an alliance with people that are capable and know what they're doing. I love that.
Amen.
Especially in the industry. Yeah.
So you mentioned merch a bunch of times, and everybody that I talk to that goes out talks about the value of merch now. At any level. I mean, I was to a show a few weeks ago, and Styx played here in Halifax, and they were selling merch. And then I go to a local show, 3 bands on the bill, they're selling merch. I've talked. Oh, it's not worth it for somebody that's out there actually touring, actually doing it. Give me an elevator pitch on merch and the importance of it to you guys.
Yeah. First, just make it look fresh. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And fresh just means like what you know in your mind. What what do you like? What would you wear? You know what I mean? There's all different. We do a mixed aesthetic, especially because we have everything from metal to hip hop to prog rock. We have emo and alternative and death metal, and it's a little bit, a little bit street, a little bit classy, a little bit hardcore, f the world, whatever, little bit conscious, there's a little bit of something for everybody in our sound. So for the aesthetic, when I make the clothing, I make a little bit of everything for someone to wear, not just all black, but not all vibrant colors. And I try different designs. I see what sells. And we do a lot of hats lately too, like snapbacks, some fitted, some of those old school military hats that you'd see
Yeah.
at a hardcore show in 2004 when all the straight edge kids were wearing those army hats and shit. We do those. And I love it because I love clothing. I love going to the mall. Even when I'm like not buying something, I just love to walk around the mall and look at stuff. And so I love wearing my own stuff. I almost wore one of my own shirts to do this. I was over at my girlfriend's place. I had a bag packed, but it's nice to make merch that you like, that you'd want to wear,
Yeah.
walk around, represent it, and then wherever we play. Sometimes if it's like an indie rock show, or it's a metal show, or if it's a straight hip hop show, there's always tons of people that come over. Like, how much is this? How much is that? And we always take a picture with them. If you go to our Instagram, our social media, and we have them throw something up and hold a shirt. And every time I post, that person at the show wearing the shirt, someone from home will DM me like, "Oh, do you have this left?" And it's really remarkable how, like, our booking agent pointed out that we outsell the headliner sometimes. Not that it's a competition anyway, but they'll get mad at us because they'll be like, "Who are these kids that just showed up and like what they don't have a merch cut? See, you didn't look, you underestimated us. Why would I give them a merch cut in their contract?
Yep.
If they're the opening band." And then you realize we've seen people try to like come by and like, "You're lucky we don't take a merch cut from you." Why? Because you underestimated that we're walking with 500 in merch. And it's a beautiful thing, because then for all the naysayers that say, "Oh, you can't this, can't that," well, yes, we can. We'll fund it all from our t-shirt sales. So thank God that it's fresh and that people want to buy it.
Um, it's interesting that you bring that up, and because oftentimes in this business, people don't, especially cover bands, don't understand how bands get paid. So, a cover band will agree to an amount. They're playing like a show or a tribute thing. They'll get their amount. versus an original band that goes out. They'll get a set amount maybe for playing or whatever, but then it's a constant slog. So I mean, just describe a little bit how a band would get paid, and I'm not asking you to say how much, but how a band like yours would get paid when you're out there doing it.
You have to get it to a point where it has value.
Yeah.
Now, where entry level value, meaning we'll never have to sell tickets again. I stopped selling tickets. We never did buy on, but I did the promoter gives you 30 tickets that you can't sell, and you have to sell them to open up for an artist. And that's when I started as a solo project. I did that just to get in, so I could have an in with a promoter. And so when I hit somebody up about a show, they say yes. It got to a point where at those shows I was selling tickets for, like years ago, 2015, 14, I'd bring some t-shirts and some CDs. So I'd sell all the tickets, and then we would leave with 80, 100, 120 in merch sales. So I'm like, okay, I'm selling tickets, but I'm the only ticket seller at this show that's leaving with a good amount of merch. So one day I said, okay, I'm finished selling tickets. Now we don't buy on and we don't do tickets. And that's fine, but there was also no guarantee for a while. We would tour. It was very DIY. Sometimes the promoter would hand you 50. Sometimes, if you're lucky, the promoter would hand you 100. Sometimes the promoter didn't give a crap about you. He did you a favor because the show was full and he put you on it. So he just says, hey, good set. Doesn't give you anything. But I just had to act like an artist that was already made, that did it. People want to be trying to humble you, but I just acted like somebody and made our platforms represent that. So if people want to say, oh, you're not famous, you don't have a million followers. Okay, well, you don't have 1,000 people in your merch with your name and face on it. So I kept just doing these alternative things that you don't really see people doing that would show physical representation that it is something, it has something, until where, there's different labels. They were like test the waters with us, put us on a show with a big artist that was big on TikTok. And then have them go, you're right. I've never seen that. I've never seen the opener outsell the headliner in merch. And there were those things where like you had these little physical things that were not part of protocol. Like when someone checks to see if they should sign you, Spotify numbers, okay, check. TikTok numbers, check. And I'm really like, no. But we have this and we have that. And you even said we have this and we have that. Right. And eventually it was this undeniable elephant in the room. And I said, nah, let us onto your roster. Let us onto this. We have that. You said it yourself. We're not a local band. Stop trying to pretend that we're over here. We're over here moving towards our idols. And you got to let us in. Open the door. We paid our dues. Let us in. And from that point, from the day that we get on a real respectable booking agency roster and get a real respectable publicist who was referred by a big name, somebody who's not our manager. I'm not going to say his name, but he manages bands that you might listen to. He's not our manager, but he was doing us favors behind the scene. Yep. He got Raquel to do this with us. So when you have names on the inside doing that, it kind of splits this invisible line off from anything anybody wants to, everybody sells tickets sometimes. No, we don't sell tickets. Thank you for the show offer. We don't do that. And what it does is it creates a value to get to the main part that you just, where like, okay, thank you for asking us to play. We need X amount to show up and do it. They could try to say all they want, that they never heard of us, that we're not worth it. But we are, and it's been confirmed by people on the inside. So from that day, we need at least X amount. And when we show up to play X amount, whether the people know us or not, we'll play a really good set and we'll have really appealing looking merch. And then we'll double or just get extra of the amount that we got paid to do. So we get paid, get that. And from there, the bills get paid. And I come home and pay my credit card. And that splits off anything previously to this new era where we are signed professional musicians, and we created a demand for it.
Well, and I would sit down with any record exec. I would sit down with any professional and bring this up. It's not necessarily numbers, it's engagement. And you can have 1 million followers, and I was on a YouTube seminar There was a girl had 500,000 subscribers, and when the guy asked her how much she made, she said she made about $4,200 in 1 year. He goes, "No, you got 1,000 subscribers." Like that, you basically had 500,000 people that click subscribe, but they never went back and did a darn thing to do anything. So you need engagement. And on that note, because we're coming up on the end here, Sean, Rimshots and Sean on Rock Rage Radio, where are my viewers, my listeners, going to find out about you guys?
Instagram and Facebook. It's Instagram is just at Disasterpiece, DIZASTERPIECE, like masterpiece, but DIZ in front of it.
Love it.
And on Facebook, Facebook is just facebook.com/disasterpiece, DIZASTERPIECE, and it's cool. We like to interact with our fans. We be heart reacting to stuff they say. We're very responsive. It's a community. We bring that old school, like, come have fun with us, come be part of something kind of feel. So if you hit us up and you like it, come be part of our team, and we'll come smoke with you. You come to a show, remind us who you are, that we talked at the merch table. Then we include you as part of the Diz family. So
love it, Justin. I want to thank you for doing this, man, and let's stay in touch. Best of luck throughout the summer, because I mean the summer's just getting started. Good time to be out there. So best of luck, and thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me, brother.
And we'll be right back. Rock Rage Radio after this.